Over. But bam, here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have promised you eventually, we're finally here. The Ghostface, Killah! No one can get Illa.
That's right.
All right. We're going to have a quick conversation and interview in here. I know that Ghost is in the studio right now. He's really busy, so we're just going to talk through a few questions and recent things just to get his thoughts and get his mind on things. You know, a lot of my fans in chat and just who watch my YouTube channel on a regular basis are really big Kendrick fans. They loved your inclusion on his recent record on the Purple Hearts track. If you could just kind of tell us quickly, like, you know, how did you get in contact with Kendrick? How did you get included in the track? And, you know, kind of what were your thoughts going into the song and what you contributed to it?
Yeah, I got the call. That's just his people reached out to my people. And, you know, I'm a fan of Kendrick's anyway. Yeah, so as soon as they reached out to my people. He had texted me. We got together. We started talking. And one thing just led to the next. It was like, yo, I'm going to send you this song right here. Whatever. I said, yo, bring it on, whatever. He told me what he wanted me to do to it. And then I just handled that business. It was simple. It was simple, real simple. Like, you know what I mean? I did what I did. I knew what I had to do, like messing with him. And I just try to just keep the same energy.
You know, when you first heard the track, like what were some of your first impressions of it when you got it kind of passed your way?
I mean, because when I think he sent me the beat first. I'm not sure, but then he sent me the I think it might have been he sent me with the rhyme. So it was like, okay, it was kind of smooth. It was smooth. Listen to it a few times, see where he was going with it. I talked to him because I was like, yo, you know, the Elohim is like, you know, that's God right there. But he already knew, like, you know what I mean? The Most High and stuff like that. So I kept it in that chamber on dealing with the hook and all that too. So and I gave him 2 verses. I wrote 2 verses for him, but just so he could pick, he could just have whatever he wants to have.
Right.
That was it. He chose that one, but he was like, "Oh, sure, you gave me 2 verses." I'm like, "Yeah, because let me use this style, and let me use this style." You know what I mean? So whatever style you might want to, whatchamacallit, and they was both ill, but I'm like, "Yo, okay, cool, that's it."
Yeah, like you said, like when he passed to you, the lyrics had to have been intact because you fit into the religious theme of the song really tightly.
Yeah, because this is before Summer Walker was on it.
Right.
It was just me and him. Just me and him. So, you know, I was following his energy, you know, and yeah, one thing just led to the next. That was done a while ago.
Yeah.
But people heard it before that. I think my man Alchemist was like, yo, I heard some with you and Kendrick, whatever the case may be. I'm like, yeah. I just gave him like a couple of bars or whatever. And and that was it. And he just dropped it, I guess, on the 13th or whatever.
You know, I wanted to ask you because obviously, like through what you say, you have a lot of like admiration for Kendrick. But you know, in like I think that recent Drink Champs interview that you had, you know, you were kind of talking about like being at a point where artistically and just like as a music fan, you have a hard time finding like new stuff that you're amazed by. You know, that like you're blown away by, like. Yeah. You know, is that still the case? Do you have a hard time hearing newer hip hop, newer music out there that you have a hard time just like kind of connecting with, just like getting something out of?
Of course. Because it's like everything is the same right now to me. You know what I mean? Like nothing don't really, because I'm a thinker. You know, I'm a real thinker and shit. I think of a lot of shit that motherfuckers don't think about. So when I hear the same shit, like I don't be inspired by the shit that's here. I listen to it and I deal with it because I'm surrounded by it. But it don't make me want to go grab the pen, you know? So when I hear good music or somebody throw a nice verse, you know what I mean? That's what inspires me. You know what I mean? Remember, I'm from the era where, you know, I'm old school. You know what I mean? I'm the Rakim and the Canes and them. But then, you know, I'm still from the era when you had Biggie out there and Nas and Mobb Deep and all these great guys, Snoop Dogg, you know what I mean? These guys had you like, oh shit, especially Nas. Like, yo, you heard that shit? It make you want to go right. I miss the brothers that made me want to go right. Because now it's like, yeah, I write, but sometimes you need something, you need a battery sometimes.
You know, just like a point of comparison, like what do you think of, I mean, obviously Nas is still super active. He just had those 2 records that he dropped with Hit Boy that were really good, and he got a Grammy for one of them.
Right.
You know, did either of those records hit you? And what about that Grammy win? Do you think that was kind of a long time
Oh,
coming?
that's big. The Grammy win is big for the culture. Definitely. And I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him. Nas is like my best rapper. I always tell him that. And he always boomerang it back to me too. Like, yo, nah, yo, you like this and this. But I'm like, yo, listen, you the golden child. It's like you like that. You was like that light was just over him. Like, you know what I mean? Especially when he came out. I tell him I had Illmatic before Illmatic didn't even drop yet. Like I met these 2 French girls. They had like, I think it was 5 or 6 songs on the tape. And I'm just listening to them tear everything in half. Like every beat, and me and Ray in the car now just dying laughing because he was going crazy on it. But Nas is always one of his cadence, his voice, everything. Like, you know what I mean? I tell him, I say, I always wanted him and I always wanted the Genius to do a track together. You know what I mean? Because Genius is like a walking fucking newspaper. You know what I mean? He's a scientist as well. So it's like I always wanted to see them combine, like just to see their shows. Like, yo, that'd have been crazy.
I mean, it's obviously not the same as the era that you came up in, but like, what about, for example, when you might hear new music out there that's obviously inspired by you or inspired by your era, like, you know, Griselda, for example, West Side Gun, Supreme Clientele, you know,
Right.
does that stuff kind of, you know, connect with you at all? Like, do you get any kind of sense of pride or, you know, excitement out of hearing kind of that sound and that vibe continue on to a new generation?
Of course. Yeah, because it's like the work that I put in, it's like it been recognized. You know what I mean? It's like it's recognized. The energy still live on. So, you know, that's always a good feeling. Like, yo, somebody could quote a lyric from you. You know what I mean? Or just know your shit. What you gonna say?
Oh, no, go on if you were still talking.
Okay, hit me.
Yeah. You know, I have a lot of fans also in chat and just, you know, follow my YouTube channel who are just like huge, like MF Doom heads. And, you know, I not only, you know, love your discography for the quality just like across it, but also like, you know, you were pretty early on to like seeing the genius in what he was doing, you know, and like, you know, hopping on his production, like bringing him into what, you know, you were doing and collaborating and crossing over with him, you know, during a time when it was mostly like indie kids and like white nerdy dudes and like, you know, underground West Coast guys who were mostly into his music. You know, how did you connect with him originally? And, you know, there are a lot of fans out there who are still kind of wondering about that Doomstarks project that didn't like, you know, come to light. Like is after his passing, is there any chance of us hearing maybe more of that possibly?
I mean, for that, his wife got all the files and everything like that. Cause I've been did my part on that. You know, Doom used to take his time on things and whenever he's ready, he's ready. You know what I mean? I left all it because it was his production. So I just gave him my rhymes. It been done. It been done years ago, like probably over 10 years, 10, 12 years since I gave him all that work. You know what I mean? So before he passed away, I was trying to just, you know what, let me redo my vocals because where I recorded it at was like in the like, you know, the sound changes, you know what I mean? So I wanted to just let it be up to par. I keep the same version. Let me just get and just sing it over.
Right.
You know what I mean? But and we had that in plan, and then all of a sudden it just happened. But he been had everything that Doomstarks like been done. It been done. You know what I mean? But I met him. I mean, I came across his music, like I know him from KMD. You know what I mean? But I physically know him normally. We never shook hands, but I didn't know who he was. But I'm on the road with Linkin Park and Snoop and all these guys, Korn and all that. So I got a CD. I don't know how I got hit with the CD, or I don't know if I got it from that place or somebody, but it was said Metal Fingers on it. So, you know, I always give everybody a chance.
Right.
I give everybody a chance. You know what I mean? If you don't catch me with I mean, I will go through your CD, and one might be good record on it, but when I got the CD, it was like, it was just different. It was different. It was like, oh shit, this nigga got shit that I could fuck with. Yo, who the fuck is this dude? You know what I mean? And then I had my peoples going hunt him down, and it was doomed. It was doomed. So we came to the studio, we played a bunch of records, we banged a lot of that shit out. You know what I mean? Then that's when we started just like, you know what? I think that might have been fish scale time.
Yeah. No, it was.
And things started just like coming more and more. You know what I mean? So, you know, we had conversations. Go to Europe, like I might go to Europe. I just see him walking the streets of Europe. I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? He like, you know what I mean? I'm like, he act like he don't hear me. I'm like, yo, don't know. And he'll fuck around, just turn around like, and look through the car like, yo, how you know that was me? I'm like, nigga, I'm looking right at you. That's how I knew it was you. You know what I mean? Yo, but he was cool as fuck, like mad cool, like, you know, because he had knowledge of self. You know, so he can get in and give me that conversation. So we kick it about science and this and that and the third, like, yo, and every time I seen him, it was nothing but all love, yo, all love. But nah, rest in peace, yo.
No, like you said, I'm not really surprised to hear what you were saying about that project, because he was somebody who very obviously, like, when he put something out, you know, he put a lot of work into it and he took his time with it, and it took a while for it to like actually kind of get there. It was rare that he ever like put out anything that felt like rushed or anything like that, you know. But like thinking of that, just like in your own context, like, you know, what about you and your creative process, and thinking of a time like, you know, past when you're sort of like, you know, out of control of your own records and those are kind of passed on to somebody else, like, you know, would you know, have any interest personally at this point, or would you like it to be avoided, sort of having any of your work released posthumously? Because it kind of seems like that's such a trend right now, you know, like as soon as somebody passes, like try to get a record out as soon as possible. You know, is that, you know, anything that you have an opinion on personally?
Just say one more.
Oh yeah. I'm just talking.
So,
Yeah, I'm just talking about like posthumous records, like generally, like for example, the recent DMX record, you know, because there's so many artists, as soon as they pass, to like rush out an album. You know what I mean? Like when you know, it gets to a point when, you know, your music is passed on to somebody else, is, you know, do you have any sort of opinion about how it's handled or how it gets released, or if it gets released, or should it just stay locked down?
like if I'm making music now, and,
Sure.
and I give a label or somebody my music,
or like once you've passed, you know, because
dead.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. So you're saying how would I want my music to be out?
Right. Or just like not released at all.
It depends. It depends. You know what I mean? Because that music could fuck around and just be for my kids later on down the line, when it's like, but at the same time, it's like somebody like Tupac that put in all that work. It was like he worked like if he knew he was going, you know what I mean, get out of here. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I didn't understand how he's still dropping like 7 albums, and nigga, you gone. I started believing like he might even be gone. You know what I mean? I started doing like, yo, he might be in Cuba like these niggas are saying somewhere. But it depends. It depends. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I would love my music to live on, but there's a mystique behind something that, damn, yo, 20 years later too, that nobody never heard. You know what I mean? What would that demand be for it like that? You know what I mean? If it's promoted right. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it could go both ways.
You know, speaking of stuff that you're working on now, you know, because you just referenced that a second ago, somebody told me that you may be working on Supreme Clientele 2. Is that true?
Yeah, I've been doing that.
Right.
I just sat back and, you know, and didn't play with it for a minute. But listen, man, I got shit on that shit that was done 12 years ago. That's vintage. It's fat. Like, you know what I mean? This shit crazy. I mean, so I got new joints too, but it's like, I know I'm good at doing part twos. You know what I mean? some niggas be doing shit like, yo, I'm gonna do this shit to my, I'm gonna do this over it, you know what I mean? Like they, you know, we gonna see when we drop this shit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I put my mouth is like, anybody had a part 2 greater than my shit. It's not gonna happen.
All right, a couple more things because I know you're busy. I know that you voiced that you're really into the stuff musically that Silk Sonic has been doing. Have they reached out to you? Is there any chance of you guys like crossing over at some point?
Silk Sonic?
Yeah. Like Anderson .Paak and Bruno.
Looking for Bruno.
Yeah.
Me, Bruno. Nah, nobody whatchamacallit, but I'm fans. I'm fans of both. Big ones. Big ones. I've been to Anderson about that shit before Anderson even started really like blowing. You know what I mean? We was up in the crib out there in LA, just going through songs and shit. Like, yo, and this is like a while ago, like before he started even getting like mad light. Yeah, because I heard his talent off the bat. But now I'm a fan of that, like both of their music. Both of their music. You know what I mean? So if you ever see Bruno, tell him I'm trying to track him down.
I'll let him know. I wanted to ask you quick about the most recent development on Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, because obviously, the album has been auctioned off to some guys who are like in the crypto community and everything. As far as you know, is there any info on maybe the album getting out at some point? And personally, are you happy to sort of just see it out of Shkreli's hands?
Man, I don't give a fuck where that album is at. You know what I mean? I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't getting no money off that shit. And anyway, man, listen, I don't even like talking about that shit because I don't really know nothing with nothing. I don't give a fuck who got. You can have it. I don't give a fuck if you got it.
If I had it, I'd give it to you.
And that'd be dope, and we could get money. I don't give a fuck who got that shit, bro, because I never gave a fuck about it in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, it was supposed to have been a compilation album for the Kiss Silver Rings. We paid a couple of clan members just to do this for him, not to go and sell and make money off of what we done did that. You know what I mean? That you didn't even pay us. You was a homeboy, so we didn't even charge you full-fledged. You feel me? We just looked out for you and said, I go do a show in Europe. You happen to be there with a little studio or this and that and the third, and just be like, yo, could you do this? And you know what I mean? And give a nigga some little bit of money. Not even like, I ain't charging what the fuck I charge motherfuckers out here. You know what I mean? So, but for you to get and flip that and have a plan to go and do that is grimy, bro. You know what I mean? We didn't approve of that. You know what I mean? You ain't say like, yo, we going to sell us for this and this how we going to make this money? Fuck is you? You know what I mean? And my brother went over there with him and sided with this nigga, and it caused a little confusion, but that's why I said I don't really got nothing to do with that shit. I don't got nothing good to say about that shit anyway, because it's trash.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, last question, last one, because I know you got to go. You have the upcoming Wu and Nas tour. What's the energy that, I mean, what's the energy right now for you for that? And, hype everybody up on that so they come out and get tickets.
Yo, listen, man. I told you Nas is my favorite MC. One of my favorite ever. He might be the top. He might be in the top. You know what I mean? He might be in the top. So it's gonna be crazy because there's two energies. So it's New York. I got that. What they call that shit? New York? Kings of New York or some shit they call that shit? Yeah, but when you got our energy mixed with him, and it ain't gonna be like, I ain't even gonna say that because I guess I'm not supposed to say that shit. But it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, and it's gonna be dope. It's gonna feel like how New York felt back then in '93. You know what I'm saying? But up to date though. You know what I mean? So a lot of heads gonna come out. You know what I mean? I don't know what special guests gonna come out and do whatever, but it's going to feel like Wu-Tang and Nas.
All right. Well, again, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming through, and thanks for just being an open book, answering the questions, and just being a great guest.
No, come on, man. Thanks for having me, man. You sure that's it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Unless you got something you got to get off your chest.
No. I'm cool. We just in here working.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, go back and do your thing. Get some work done.
That's it. I appreciate you, bro.
All right. Give me a shout out on a track.
Yeah. Why you laugh? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll give you a drop whenever you need that drop. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Huh?
I'll make the beat.
Oh, you said make the beat.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right, cool.
All
I
right.
got you.
Have a good one. Bye.
I took one.